Hi there, I'm Sonal Mehrotra Kapoor, and as we look at the end of the year, it's a time for a lot of reflection. People are looking back at a year gone by which has not been an easy one, right? It's been a tough for so many families, for yours and for mine. People lost their jobs, people got into relationship, out of relationships, financial mess. Bottom line, if one could be really frank, it's been a shitty year. And if you are looking at perhaps some New Year perspective, then that for you is coming with this book called Do Epic Shit. Perhaps more of it, right? So what exactly is this book about? Is it going to solve your problems, create new ones? God knows. Well, we've got Ankur with us here.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
To give us some insight into how much more shittier can this get, and why do you want to make this so shitty?
No, this book is hopefully as an escape to everything that you might be struggling with. It's just a reflection of my life and how I have lived with this philosophy of do epic shit, which has been my life motto for several years, and all that I've done is just documented my journey in a book that hopefully everyone would like and appreciate.
You know, I read bits of this book, and the one thing that really stuck with me was how it starts by a very humbling thing, that it does not teach you anything new. It does not tell you something you haven't heard about. This is essentially something to tell you before you go to sleep at night that, you know, things are going to be all right.
Yes.
Is that the right sense that I'm picking up?
Very much so, very much so. It's a compilation of just my life experiences, and I've had a wonderful life and a fantastic up and down journey. So this is just me documenting it in a way that's not biographical, but in the same sense leaves people with a thought to reflect upon, and hopefully through that get them to do epic shit.
Right. So for all of you who don't know Ankur, you're probably living under a rock by now, but if you don't know, he's somebody who's these days called a finfluencer. Influencer.
I don't even know what names yet. So many of them.
You've been talking to people in your own community on various social media platforms, telling them how that even the lowest moments on your life give you sort of an opportunity to rise up. Now, this is an idea everybody keeps talking about. What's different in this book?
I think it's just my story and the relevance that people find in it. It's like a Bollywood movie where you would have pretty much the same flow, the same storyline, but some parts of it resonate with you and you find your own life somehow playing on that screen. And that's what I've done. It's not so much about do this, do that, do this, do that, because everyone knows of it. But it's like when it happened to me, and a lot of shit has happened to me, this is how I dealt with it. And I hope that in some way gives you the confidence that you can too, because I'm not the smartest person I know. I'm not the most hardworking person I know. And if I can do that, frankly, anybody else can.
So people should take away from some life lessons and sort of reflect back. So there are lots of relationships that you talk about in this book. There is relationship with money, something that you're known to ace already. There is relationship with time, and then there is relationship with self. If I gave you like 1 minute to sort of describe each of these, and perhaps put them in order also for us, and especially current generation.
Sure.
How would you play that?
I think your relationship with money drives most of your external actions and your biases towards how you want to think about your life. Your relationship with time gets you to accomplish those things in a manner that you feel in control or not. And your relationship with your own self is the constant story that you're telling yourself of whether you are actually hitting it or not. And I've met so many successful people who on record are successful and yet not comfortable with where they are. And I've met so many people who on paper would be like, hey, that person is a loser, but they're just so wonderfully connected with their own selves. And I feel that everything then boils down to how they think of money in their life, how do they deal with time when they have that, and what is the relationship and the story they keep telling themselves.
You're sort of describing the Instagram generation right now.
Yeah, largely so. And that is who I speak with. I'm 41. And the big thing that happened, Sonal, in the last 1.5 years was I began speaking to a generation which is largely 18 to 24. Yeah. And it was a whole new world that opened up for me because they are not nearly going through the same experiences that perhaps you and I did. And we had a very different time where the internet came into our life and did transform. But then this generation was born into the internet and they are consuming it vividly and in a manner that can be immensely helpful, but immensely detrimental basis how you deal with it and your own self.
Right, talking about this generation, we're going to be keeping this entire session very, very interactive. So let's just shoot in with the first question, then we'll come back to the book. You had a question, go ahead.
Yeah, I did. Hey Ankur, psyched to be here. So I have a personal challenge that I face at times. So I have a very few close friends that I get to talk about work with. And when I discuss things about career, they have this fire. They feel like they have this thunder saying that I want to work here. I want to work in this industry. I want to do this by this time. And I have not seen that thunder or that fire in me yet. And it kind of feels like a challenge because I felt like I should have that self-motivation or that inspiration, but I'm still struggling to find it. And I don't want to force myself. So what do you think about that?
I would first say, if you don't mind asking, how old are you?
I'm 24.
You are way too early in this process. And I know that you feel old as hell and you'll be like, oh my God, 24 and my life is over because I don't know where I am and what I need to do. But don't put yourself into a situation where time is the pressure on you. It isn't. The pressure on you should be exploration. It's quite possible that your friends have figured their things out. It's quite possible they're putting up a facade to just show that they've figured it out. None of that frankly matters. What matters is that you're on a journey where you recognize for yourself that what you're doing may not be what you want to do for the rest of your life. And the only way to figure it out is through exploration. It is not going to happen one fine day that you find your passion hidden somewhere behind a book. It's not going to be so. You will grow into your passion, and that's only going to happen if you devote yourself not just to one identity that you're living right now, but multiple identities beyond work, your nights, your weekends and whatnot, and genuinely find what is it that you're good at, which is a list of things and can be. How many of those things are you truly happy with? And then how does that help the world? Which is in some way directing towards the concept of ikigai, if you know of it already, but don't bother with that. The larger thing is you have to find things that you are truly good at that make you happy doing. It could very well not be what you're doing right now, but let there be no pressure of time. There is no milestone to hit as much as the world imposes that on you. There isn't any time constraint on anyone's life.
You know,
at
I'm
41.
very glad that he's brought this question at 24, you said, right? A lot happened in your life when you were 24.
Yes, did. And that's exactly what it was. I dropped out of my PhD, which is the only thing that I had designed for my life. And at 24, I had to reset my life all over again, completely. I had no plan, no goal, no direction, no money, nothing waiting for me to be just cushioned with that impact. And I had to figure that out. And it happened. I'm not saying that that's going to be the same path for everyone. But what I can say with absolute certainty is that there is no, oh my God, you have to do this by this time, that the world will have you believe is the only way to live. There isn't. The world has changed, dramatically different from what our parents experienced.
That's a good one actually. But also in the beginning of the book you mentioned something that really got my heart. 90s kids will know this for sure. I'm not so sure about all you 24-year-olds out here. But something called book cricket. Yeah, so I have done this. A lot of you watching would know. So let's try that on the show, right? Let me just randomly pick up a page.
Awesome.
And we'll see how that goes. Okay.
Perfect. Give me the page number.
Whoever gets a higher number.
No, that'll be easier.
That'll be okay.
Oh, whosoever gets the higher singles. Okay, so the ones, 3, 7, 5 or so.
Okay.
1, 2, 3. I'm at 161, so I clearly lost.
I'm at 2. I am 207.
So you win.
Yeah.
What is 207?
Oh, very interesting because it's about mistakes you made with money.
Yes.
Right? So, and I know a lot of people here are saying, ooh, that's something we know about. Money gets everybody excited, especially when you are in your 20s. So you describe this chapter is actually on money. It says mistakes I made with money, and let's look at mistake number 3.
So mistake number 3 is a classic mistake. I come from the entrepreneurial background and I've been an entrepreneur for the last 12 years. When you spend time in a certain ecosystem, you begin to believe that that's your entire world. So when I was a startup founder, all I believed was, you know what, everyone else who's investing in stocks and in gold, in real estate, losers. Startup is the shit. Like that's where you make money. So I put all my money, all of my money in startups. The thing about startups when you put in money is that it's extremely risky because there is 1 in 10 chance that you will make money, if at all. and it's highly illiquid, which is when you really need the money,
You don't
there
got
is
it.
no money.
Yeah.
So I was rich on paper, but I had virtually no money and cash in my bank or for anything that I needed in life. Horrible way to deal with money. Such a loser mindset. And I made this mistake completely convinced that the world I was spending my time with was the wiser one, and I knew my stuff and everyone else, of course,
Your
did.
echo chamber.
It was just classic echo chamber. Yes.
Right. All right. It's that time when we take another question. You have one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you select any particular idea? Like, how do you know if it's good enough or not?
Okay, that's a good question. So how do you know whether an idea that you are enamored by is a good one or not? The way to do that is you don't know that. You really don't. So don't make the mistake of assuming that you are the customer. That's a classic mistake people make. If I were to ask all of you, hey, are all of you middle class? Everyone is going to share your hands because we are all convinced that we are middle class, no values and blah, blah, blah. But the truth is middle class in India is someone who earns between 8 to 10,000 rupees a month. We're not middle class. We're rich sitting in this really nice place and have all our clothes on in this wonderful Delhi winters. But the guy who's plying the rickshaw on the road, that guy is middle class. So if you were to build an idea for middle class India, you would build it for yourself, but you are not a reflection of the customer. So that's mistake number one you don't want to make. Mistake number two, because you're not the customer, you have to go to the customer. And there I have this idea that I've worked on a lot of times, and it's beautiful. I call it the fake test. So before launching your idea, launch a fake version of the idea. Imagine that you actually have that idea on. So put up a website, have a domain name, put up all the things that you would to do with that idea, and then float it in the universe. And on a very small basis, run ads for that idea and see how customers react to it. Are people even clicking on that idea or on that ad? When they do that and they land on your website, how do they engage with it? What kind of feedback do they leave you? Do they feel so excited about the idea that they're willing to share their email address or their mobile number with you, so on and so forth? That is going to give you the conviction whether that idea even warrants any attention from the true customers who are going to consume that idea when you launch it. After this is when you take the first step towards picking up the idea. Most people make the mistake, this is the idea, I'm the smartest person I know, I got up this one fine morning thinking that this is the best idea on earth. Screw everyone else who has had this idea before me because all of them are losers. I am the one who's going to make this idea best because I'm going to do it better than everyone else. And then we make the classic mistake of falling in love with that idea. Don't fall in love with the solution, fall in love with the problem. Fall in love with the problem. What is it that you're trying to solve? And ask yourself, are there people who even care about this problem as much as I do? Until then, you don't have an idea, you don't have a business, you're not a founder or an entrepreneur, you're just an investigator who's investigating ideas and figuring whether there's any worth in it or not.
And I think the thing with the current generation, and don't kill me for saying this, is that there are too many ideas.
Yes.
Too many ideas, and you keep getting obsessed with a new one. I think what's important to understand is, I hear parents talk about it all the time. I hear it being discussed now in a lot of groups, in book clubs, etc. When they say, my kid is obsessed with one idea on Monday, another one on Tuesday, a third one on Thursday. Is there a process to this madness? Is there a way in which you cannot discourage them, but make them more aware? And like you said, is perhaps one answer to that, how to sort of get going on that. Another question, time. Yeah, you.
Okay, so I have this question, like you always talk about content creation, like everywhere, YouTube, Instagram, everywhere. But you had a team recently. So when you were starting out, like you have a blog like 16 years ago. So how you used to manage at that time, being a CEO and being a father, content ko strategize karna to different platforms?
Yeah. So, and that's a good question. One, the game is really long. So don't try and win that game overnight. I was sharing this with all of you. We yesterday hit 50 million views on YouTube.
Woo!
Thank you. After 4.5 years of YouTube, and 49 million of that 50 million came in the last 1 year.
Really?
So it's for 3.5 years.
Yeah.
All that I was doing was showing up with one video a day or a week, and just clinically waiting for it to just bake in the sun, bake in the sun, bake in the sun. And at some point of time it would explode. Who knew when, but it happened, and it happened in the last 1 year. The key is you have to do something that is authentically you, because that's the only way you can get consistency. If you're doing something that is not authentically you, that you have to become someone else to do it, you're going to never be consistent with it. Simple as that. So if you ask me how did I manage all these years of creating content or doing whatever it is that I was doing, it was only because I was being true to myself. I was never doing anything that I felt I had to drag my feet to, or Monday morning, shit, go to work, show up at do's and blah, blah, blah. All that I was doing was, this is something that I love doing. It's something that comes naturally to me, and I will. And if you do that, then at some point of time, trust the process will tilt over in your favor. That's when you win.
So you talk about in great length about your own journey, also reflection on how social media has picked up to you, right? But it's also a demon. It's something that we really got to address in these times specifically. You talk about how, wait for it to bake and let the process take over. But we do have a current situation where a lot of our population is obsessed with this instant gratification that has come in, right? They wake up every morning just to count the number of likes, just to count the number of comments and shares that are coming in. That's a tricky process. And this is something that is now finally getting attention thanks to the pandemic. One thing good that came out of that.
Yes.
What's your advice to people on this one?
One is this realization that everyone starts with 0 followers. People are not born with a million followers or born with XYZ. So when they look at me or anybody else for that matter, and they're like, oh, you have so many followers, so you can do whatever you want to do. Now, everyone starts with 0. So you have to start the journey and commit yourself to it. But most importantly, it's something that is not a fault of this generation. Patience is not something that came to them by way of how life was. You and I come from a time where we had no choice but to be patient. We had to stand in line to get things done. We had to wait several years for...
I'm just saying I'm not 40, guys.
Yeah,
I'm
not.
Just saying.
You're not.
I'm just saying. Yeah.
So at 21, you have actually lived a life which is very, very different from most 40 years old. And this generation was just born with instant gratification, as you said. So you have to, and this is the only way it's possible, you have to bring in patience as a part of a habit.
How?
By genuinely waiting for things that you can get instantly. It is really hard, and what I'm saying sounds like bullshit, but you have to not get things instantly, but wait for things to happen by design. Even if things can happen instantly, you're like, no. For example, you can order a book online and get it tomorrow, but you'll be like, you know what? I'm actually going to go to a bookstore, find out a book, wait in line for the billing counter, and experience that journey while knowing that it'll take me several more days and hours to do that.
Why would somebody do that?
Because that's the only way that you learn patience through design. Otherwise, you're always going to be this instant gratification demon that is going to consume you.
Okay, so let's just say you're saying slow down your life and do it by design.
Yes.
And wait in queue by design.
Yes, wait in queue by design. By design.
Guys, good luck. Try that and write back to us on how that went.
Not going to be easy. Not going to be easy. While you're in the line, don't look at your phone. All the best with that.
All right. So, I always wanted, everybody I meet who is a motivational speaker or somebody whose life seems very sorted, right? Instagram has taught us that. I always want to know from them, what do you do when you're down and out? So say, I'm sure this book is going to do very well. Say the book doesn't do very well and people say, oh, what is new in this book? There are so many people out there who are writing the same thing. He himself says there's nothing nice. How do you go to sleep at night? What is the thought that you give yourself in the morning?
I'm going to sound very philosophical, but frankly, that's the only way that I think about it. I do not have any goals and targets in my life. I only commit to habits. I don't have any goal and target. And my publisher, Chiki, she knows this more than anyone else. This book is not something that is a target, or nothing that I've done is a target. It is like, here's what you have to do as part of a process, and then you continue doing it, and at some point of time, the outcome will become a book.
This is a former CEO of multiple companies saying there is nothing called a target in life.
Yes.
I heard that right?
Yes, you heard that right.
Okay, go
again.
Huh.
There is no basis for us to set targets in our life for ourselves. If we hit it, we feel great about ourselves. If we don't hit it, we feel shitty about ourselves. But the truth is, we had no basis for setting that target. It was always a desire. We want to get to that point, so we get that as a goal or a target in life. Instead, and hear me out, I love the look, Instead, what you have to do, or what at least I do, is commit myself to a habit. So instead of saying, oh, 1st Jan is upon us, so the world's going to go into this weight loss resolution wave, instead of saying, I'm going to lose 10 kgs in X months, all you say is, I'm going to show up at the gym every single day. That's it. That is just it. This now needs to become a habit. It is clockwork in my mind that at some point of time during the day, I show up at the gym. If you do that, you're going to far outstrip any goal or any target that you would have set for yourself.
So going to the gym is an easy one, but how do you not set a target for a career goal in life?
I can give a really long answer, but I don't think that would be the right one. Goals, when it comes to careers, are always attached to what the organizational target set for you is. Promotions, titles, money, sales targets, money, targets, money. All of that is a wonderful trap that the world has laid out for you to get you hooked on and get married into this beautiful ladder of career. And I'm sorry I'm destroying so many things for you right now. But the truth is, if I were to just commit myself to, I'm going to spend time with people who are nothing like me so that I broaden my horizon every single time. I'm not going to ever feel entitled. I'm never going to get comfortable in my job. And just commit to these habits, you're going to become the best entrepreneur that company has ever seen. And you have to look around yourselves to say most successful professionals in the world are actually thinking like entrepreneurs and not employees. They're not waiting for their managers to give them orders. They're like, I'm going to create my own wave. I'm going to do it while being compliant with what the organization sets for me. But this is not to any effect of a goal or a target, but just the habit that I form. I don't know anybody else and nothing else to do.
Well, I don't know what to make of it. And I don't know if I'm going back to our office after hearing this. I hope my editor is listening into this one as well. All right, on that note, we're going to take a very quick break. Coming up on the other side, we will play the shittiest rapid fire of the year. We will throw at Ankur some daily life shitty situations, and let's see how he responds to that. I know you don't want to miss it. Come right back. We've chatted at length about a lot of ideas, but I thought since this book is about doing epic shit, let's do like the shittiest rapid fire of the year. Okay? I've got a couple of questions here for you, Ankur, which is about, it's like a daily shit list.
Okay.
Okay? Real life situations in everyday life that are thrown at you, and I want to know how Ankur deals with it.
Okay.
You have to, but it's a rapid fire.
Sure.
So you've got to keep it very, very quick.
Exactly.
And we're going to hear some reactions from the audience on that one.
Okay.
So are you ready?
Let's play.
Let's play. Okay. So the shittiest rapid fire of the year with Ankur. So, how to fight with, oh crap, it's Monday.
Oof. I'm thinking of a short answer, but I recognize I'm taking long to give you that short answer.
Gotta be quick. Quickly. Monday's becoming Tuesday now.
Yeah, I know. Look forward to what you'll be doing at the end of the day when the day is over.
Okay, good. Let's move to the next one. My peers seem to be doing very well, but I bloody missed out on my promotion. My life is shit.
If you're not ready to take on your peers' entire life as yours, don't ever compare yourself with anybody else.
Ah, I like that one. Okay, next one. My boss is a demon. She has biases. I never get my due at work.
If your boss is a reflection of the company culture, leave the company. If your boss is an aberration in the company culture, please have the moral courage to report it.
Nice. I like that one. Next one. Not making it to my dream college. Damn, I worked so hard.
College is overrated. You are not going to have anything come out of college if you give it the importance that you think it deserves.
I actually agree with this one. Okay. Next. And let's talk about, careers, etc. you've talked about, and your own personal life. If you had to give it like one line to people who are still on the borderline wondering whether to switch their entire career in their 40s, even in their 50s sometimes, what do you tell them? One line.
Do it. You just have one life and you don't want to be living with just one identity all your life. Do it.
Okay, next one is tricky. It's about dealing with competition. And I want to know how Ankur deals with, say, Simon Phoenix of the world, or say, Jay Shetty. Say these people come out with books tomorrow. How do you deal with it?
I'm not competing with anyone. No, I'm competing with the person that I was yesterday. That's the only one that I'm competing
Nice answer there. Okay. So number 7, and let's get to some personal issues now. Finding out that your partner's cheating on you.
That means he or she was never your partner.
Okay. Okay. Number 8, do you marry someone you love or someone who loves you?
Oh, you marry someone you love. Being happy is not somebody else's responsibility, it's yours. So
Nice, nice. I like that one. Number 9, do you take the job with more money or more fun?
if fun comes with learning, definitely more fun.
Okay, I'm not sure if that answered the question, but anyways, number 10, you say, do epic shit. That's the name of the book. Tell us the shittiest thing and the shittiest moment of your life.
Ooh, that would be when I was standing in front of my startup, nearby.com, realizing we're running out of money and we had to lay off 25% of our workforce.
Ouch.
That was the shittiest moment. Hands down.
That was hard. It was also very candid and honest. Thank you so much, Ankur. Thank you.
Thank you.
Everybody for doing here, and good luck with the book. Guys, you can all pre-order the book and it's all available, and you can all write to us with feedback on which way it's going to be. Thanks so much, Ankur.
Thank you
This
so
was
much,
lovely.
Sonal. Thank you so much.